Okay, here it is, part two. Part two for how we're going to handle debt collectors this year. All right, we're going to stay on top of this with the FDCPA. Okay, we're going to stay on top of this. As I mentioned in my previous video in reference to some of the debts that could be covered, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act is something that was put in place a while ago to protect the consumers, for one. But I have opened my mind so I can just share certain information with you so you know better. So when you know better, you can do better, right? All right. So one of the questions is, how can I stop a debt collector from contacting me? Okay, a lot of people need to realize, okay, they're going to contact you because you signed information for them to do so if that debt was sold. Now, if a debt collector contacts you about a debt and you don't want that person or you don't want that debt collector to contact you again, you have to tell that collector in writing sometimes, okay, to stop contacting you. And this is how you do it. You could make a copy of your letter that you're going to get, because they're going to send out mail. You can't stop the mail unless you do something else. But one thing you need to understand, send the original certified mail and pay for a return receipt. You know how we do that. We go down to the post office. So you'll be able to document when things were sent out and when the collector received that information. But sending this letter to a debt collector does not get rid of the debt. Okay? All it does is give them a cease and desist. Okay? So one thing you do need to understand, it's just only going to stop the contact. It is not going to stop them for pursuing the debt, okay? So once the debt collector or the agency receives your letter, he or she may not contact you verbally again, all right? You do need to realize that. Now, with two exceptions, a collector can contact you to tell you that there will be no further contact, okay? You got it? Or to let you know that that agency or that creditor intends to take specific action against you, like filing a lawsuit. So keep that in mind, okay? So I want you to be knowledgeable of what's going on and everything else. So I have one more question that I'm going to answer prior to moving on, because we don't want to keep these short. I think the question was, can a debt collector contact anyone else about my debt? Yes. So the answer is, if an attorney is representing you about the debt collector must contact the attorney rather than you. Okay? If you don't have an attorney, or should I say, a collector may contact other people. Keep that in mind, but only to find out your whereabouts. Like your home address, your home phone number. Nobody uses a home phone or a landline, but you know what I'm saying. And where you work. Listen, that last part I gave you about where you work is so important, because sometimes the statute of limitations are still active, okay? And some companies will file suit. So collectors are usually prohibited, that's that word, prohibited from contacting third parties, okay? More than once, other than to obtain information or gather information about you. So keep that in mind. You know, it's very important that you do. Now, a debt collector generally is not permitted to discuss your debt with anyone other than yourself or your spouse or your attorney. Okay, so keep that in mind. Hopefully this is